For one final time this regular season, Lane Tech boys basketball is on the air. It's a regular season non-conference matchup to close out this week as the Lane Tech champions look to win their fourth straight matchup. But in their way, a pesky Von Steuben Panthers team who are looking to get a win on their senior night, a team with 10 seniors on their 15-player roster. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Alex Burstein above midcourt here in the small but pretty nice looking Von Steuben Gymnasium. Very, very red in here, a very home team friendly crowd, not a lot of seats, and the ones that are available have mostly been filled up by Von Steuben parents and students here on senior night. As you mentioned, 10 seniors on this Panthers squad who will look to end their home career with a victory before the state playoffs get going next week for both of these two squads. Lane Tech has been hot recently. They're coming off one of their best wins of the season. They started off slow, second quarter slow, third quarter they got into it, and then a very good fourth quarter. Shahid Salibo, a career-high 30 points in a win over Payton, 52-49. So Lane Tech coming off of that. And then the three prior to that, it's Mather, Northside, and Schaumburg. Apologies, they're on a 4-game win streak. They're looking to make it 5 straight. Wins to end the regular season, wins against Schaumburg, Northside, and Mather all last week. Going back a week and a half ago, it really did not look like Lane Tech was going to have a chance to end this regular season above 500. We had them 9-13 overall. They've had some struggling losses. Conference play was not looking great for them, but then we saw them beat Schaumburg, beat Northside, beat Mather, beat Payton. Now they come into tonight 13-13, and in the 27th and final game of the regular season, the champions have a chance to make it to over 500 record on the year and get a final bit of momentum boost before they head to the state playoffs. So actually be heading home for them. First round regional action will be at Lane Tech as the champions look for what would be a big upset victory over the Riverside Brookfield team coming up next Wednesday. We'll have more of that coming up at halftime, but turning our attention to tonight's game, we have our starters for both these squads, starting with the visiting Lane Tech champions, and I'm pretty sure I heard this right. There's has been a couple of changes, but right now the starting 5 we have right now is going to be number 5, Shahid Salibo, number 10, Jack Soar, number 11, Lorenzo Aquino stays in the starting lineup. Parker Williams returns from injury. We were not expecting him back until next week, but he is going to play tonight, and he is likely going to be in the starting lineup for the champions. And then rounding out the starting 5 is going to be the big man, number 35, Dalton Scantlebury. He had a quiet game on Saturday, and we'll see if he can return to his true form here tonight in some Wednesday night non-conference action. As for the Von Steuben Panthers, it's a senior-heavy starting lineup for them. 1 sophomore and 4 seniors on the court tonight to start things off for the Von Steuben Panthers. We have the captains meeting right now at midcourt. All 2 of the captains for Von Steuben are in the starting lineup. It's going to be the Rivera brothers, Axel and Owen, number 1 and 2. Axel's a sophomore, Owen is the senior. They're 2 of the starting guards tonight for the Panthers. Another guard, number 3, Melvin Holder Maldonado. We go by Melvin Holder. That's what he usually goes by on Twitter, so that's what we're going to say tonight. The senior guard gets the start to round out the backcourt for this Panthers team. And then looking at the front court, it's going to be a pair of a forward and a center. You don't see a lot of centers listed in the high school game. However, one of them is the 6'10 Kevin Anthony. He towers over any player on the court. Very, very big, has some interest from a couple of small colleges. He'll likely be playing at the collegiate level next year, and we'll see what he can do tonight against this Lane Tech squad. And then finally, the final starter, a senior forward, number 5, Dubem Noye. He has had a couple of big games, a couple of double-digit performances both this year and last year. We'll see if he can do that again here tonight. 20 seconds on the clock, and then we'll be ready to get rolling here at Von Steuben High School. Von Steuben's actually had the big lead in recent history against Lane Tech. Going back to the last 19 games between these two squads, 15 of them have been victories for the Panthers, but in recent times, it's been the champions in the win column. These two teams last met up in February of 2019. A couple of names that you might remember from past squads, Jimmy Mulvaney, Aaron Varilla, and Eric Stemper all had big performances in a 58-42 win for the champions. That was at home. The last time these two teams have played here was in 2017. It was a 51-49 loss for the Panthers. Lane Tech won that one. The last time we saw a win for the Panthers back on February 1st, 2017. That was a 53-49 win over at Lane Gymnasium. 8 minutes on the clock. Both the teams huddling near midcourt, and we are just about ready for tip-off here at Von Steuben High School. A packed crowd for the final regular season game of the year for both of these two squads. It's the Lane Tech champions and the Von Steuben Panthers here on a beautiful Wednesday night in Chicago. Von Steuben will have their big man Kevin Anthony in the circle to get things going here tonight. He will be wearing number 21, and as you mentioned, comes in at 6'10". Dalton Scantlebury on the left for the champions. First ball missed by both of the players. Von Steuben in their home white jerseys. They'll be going from right to left across your screen here tonight. Lane Tech in their green. Second ball also missed by both two squads. I'm not sure if we've seen this happen once this season for the champions. Now it's happening twice on the same jump. Third one tipped away by Anthony, and we are underway here. Quick move to the basket scored by Owen Rivera, and the senior gets the scoring going early here for the Panthers. This is a Von Steuben team, finished second in the city in the consolation bracket for the city tournament before falling to Wells, but they are a very good basketball squad, had a decent season in the White North this year, and are looking for a big win here tonight as Williams misses the three, his first shot back from injury. He's been out since that Schaumburg game, so it's been a couple of games missed here for the junior. We'll see if he can return to his usual pretty solid scoring here tonight against the Panthers. 2-0 early on. Von leads as Anthony fumbles the handoff, gets it to Noye, who will quickly work his way to the basket. Nice move, finishes with the two. And the inside scoring here strong early on for the Panthers as they get a 4-0 lead here with 7 minutes to go in quarter number one. Shahid Solibo gets one of his first touches of the night, gives it down low to Scantlebury, who finishes with the two. Lane's going to need a balanced scoring effort, at least more balanced than we saw them have on Wednesday to compete tonight, as Solibo gets a quick two to the basket after the steal, and we're all knotted up here. In that game against the Grizzlies, Solibo had a very strong 30 points, but after that, the second lead scorer was Drew Bartoli. He only had 6, so the champions will really want to get more players involved tonight. They were missing 2 starters in that matchup, in Williams, who returns from injury here tonight, wearing an ankle brace, it looks like, as 3 ball on its way off the mark there from Holder, and Jack Soar brings down the rebound. Jackson Labcon, we believe, is active. Looks like he's dressed on the bench. He is not in the starting lineup. He's been in and out of the starting lineup here this season. Solibo finds an open Jack Soar, fakes the 3 out to Williams, and now they'll reset the offense. He drives inside, out in the corner to Aquino, 4-3, money. Excellent shot there from Lorenzo Aquino to give the champions their first lead of the night. They battle back down 4-0 and take a 7-4 lead. Anthony gets to work in the paint, and when you're 6'10", it's quite easy to score baskets like that. He brings his team within 1. Interesting, Von's not going with an all-senior lineup here on senior night, as quickly they're going to punch it out to Williams. Scantlebury thought about the 3, so Lebo actually pulls the trigger. Can't get it to fall, though, as Holder brings down the rebound. Holder's very quick with the basketball, was a little too quick there. Fumbled it out of bounds, and the champions will get possession back here. 5:33 to go in quarter number 1 of action. See Von Steuben also in the state playoffs next week. They have a very tough task facing off against a Glenbrook North team that's currently ranked number 25 by the Sun-Times. Have had some tough injury luck for that Spartan squad, but either way, Von's going to have a tough task next week in the regional semifinals. Both of these teams will, so they're hoping to get some momentum heading into state playoffs as Solibo misses his second three-point attempt of the night. 2 points early on for the junior, and a 1-point lead for the champions. 5:20 now to play in quarter number 1. Quick to the basket, Noye throws that one away. It's the second time in 2 possessions we've seen the ball just go off the hands of one of these Von Steuben players on either a missed pass or a missed dribble. First it was Holder, now we see Noye do it. We'll see if Lane Tech can take advantage this time around. Aquino tries to get to work on Owen Rivera. They push it out to Williams. He quickly cuts up the middle, hands it off down low. Scantlebury swatted away and comes up back with the ball. We see a lot of blocks from Scantlebury. We don't see him get blocked a lot, but as you mentioned, there's listed 4 inches between these two. As a steal here from Holder, he goes straight to the basket and finishes with his second score of the night. to put his team back up 8-7 with 4:30 now to play in the first quarter. A fast-paced early on game here. We've seen all 8 from the Panthers be scored on quick cuts to the basket and layup scores. We'll see if that trend continues. Scantlebury from beyond the arc, can't finish the 3. Bringing down the rebound is going to be Holder. Originally thought that tonight's matchup was going to get started a little bit late because of the senior night ceremony, but instead, a rarity in public league basketball. We actually got started early as a steal here from Solivo pushes it to Aquino. Man on his back goes with the hesitation layup and gets it to fall. Nice move there from Lorenzo Aquino, and the lead will go up to 9-7. First time out called of the night. This one will be by the Panthers. So 9-8 the early lead. A lot of early scoring from both of these squads with 4 minutes exactly on the clock here at Von Steuben. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Von Steuben Metropolitan High School. Lane is positioned right to our left, so we might have an easier time hearing what they're talking about in the huddle than usual. As we mentioned in our pregame, it's a pretty small gymnasium here. There's only about 3 rows of seating on 3 sides of the gymnasium, and this one side is basically just given for players and managers, and then they let us set up here as well, but it's a pretty packed gymnasium for the capacity that they have here at Von Steuben. But early on, we see a pretty quiet crowd, a lot of back and forth, not a lot of high energy play from either of these teams. We'll see if that can change out of this timeout, as we'll see the inbound come from Owen Rivera. He gives it to Holder, and then up the middle, they'll give it to Aiden Mamutovic, with his first touch of the night. 3:55 to play. Apologies, folks. We originally thought that Axel Rivera was going to start, but it looks like it was actually Mamutovic who got the start, so it is going to be an all-senior starting lineup here tonight for the Panthers. 3:50 to go. Holder brings it across midcourt. Mamutovic now getting more involved with the game, hands it off to Noye. Noye's been very impressive with the ball in his hands, pushes out to Anthony. He pulls for 3 and hits it. So something Lane Tech saw on Monday with Nate Robb, the 6'8" big man for the Grizzlies. He was shooting 3s. Now it looks like Anthony also has some shooting ability. Punches, can't get the rebound here. Scantlebury punches it out and will throw it to Williams. We've seen a couple triple doubles this year out of Anthony. Usually rebounds, blocks, or assists, as well as points. Hoping to have another performance like that tonight, as Braden Rosenkrantz will be our first sub into the game. He checks in for Parker Williams. 3:17 to go now in the first quarter. 11-9 the lead for the home team here at Von Steuben. It's mainly been Noye and Holder bringing the ball up the court and controlling the ball for most of possessions, and then they like to find Anthony, who already has 5 points near the end of plays. He's playing in the beyond the perimeter right now, as Mamutovic can't finish with the 2. No foul called. Lane Tech will push it. They had numbers there, but slowing down, they'll let the Panthers defense catch up. Rosenkrantz pulls for 3 off the bench, can't get it to fall. Scantlebury fighting for the rebound. Jump ball will be called. Possession arrow points towards the champions here, as we'll see Kenny Rosario check in. So Lane Tech active substituting here early on. 2:48 to go in the first quarter. Aquino will check out of the game. So it'll be Rosario, Solivo, Rosenkrantz, Scantlebury, and Jack Sword. Jack Sword is usually one of the first guys to sub out, but he has made it through the first 2 substitutions, as Solivo misses the 3. Rosenkrantz came out of nowhere for the rebound, and he gets tied up with it. A travel is going to be called before a foul or a jump ball does, and the Panthers will get it back. We have not seen a 2-possession lead by either one of these teams since it was a 4-0 ball game off the start for the Panthers. If they score here, it would be back to a 2-possession game. They would love to see that. 2:35 to play here in quarter number 1 of action. So Lebo and Rosenkrantz both fighting for it. They're going to call an over-the-back foul, it looks like here, and the Panthers will keep possession. First foul called on the night on actually either one of these teams. We saw 5.5 minutes go by before either of these teams got marked for a foul. And this one will go against Lane Tech star Shahid Solibo. 2:20 now to play in the first. Holder, they defended him well in these last couple of minutes. They have Rosario and Jack Sorin, who are 2 of the top defenders on this squad. So they're looking to limit this scoring, as another jump ball is going to be called. And that I think they just said possession towards the champions, so maybe it was not. I believe the possession arrow pointed towards Von Steuben, so they might have called a travel there instead. Either way, Lane Tech will get it back with 2 minutes and change to go here in the first quarter. Rosenkrantz loses the basketball to Holder. They have to send Mamutovic to come and get it, but the ball rolls out of bounds. And Lane Tech will look to slow down the offense there. We have not seen Braden Rosenkrantz play in the true point guard role a lot here tonight, but they have Solibo playing in more of a front court position right now, and Lorenzo Aquino is out of the game. So Rosenkrantz makes most sense as he pulls for a three, misses that one. Kevin Anthony was on the defense there. The difference in height, 11 inches between Anthony and Rosenkrantz. It was not a block, but definitely an obstructed view on that three-point attempt from Braden Rosenkrantz. 100 seconds now to play in the first quarter. Rosario trying to guard Holder. They'll push it in the corner. Lane Tech wanted to travel there. They won't get it. A couple of these players, including the Holder, have some D3 offers. No one officially committed yet on the court for the Panthers for basketball. They have one player who's committed for football. But a very athletic squad. As a 30-second timeout. It's going to be called by the champions with 1:17 to go here in the first. 11-9's your score. The champions trailing Von Steuben here. So we talked about 3 minutes ago, exactly 3 minutes and 42 seconds or something like that, 43 seconds at the 4-minute timeout, that both these squads were really fast-paced. Their scoring was a lot. We had about 16, 17 points in the first 4 minutes. Since then, the offenses have really, really died down. We've seen a lot of turnovers the last couple of possessions for both these teams, and as a result, it is still that 2-point lead for the Panthers. Lane Tech's had a chance to tie it or take the lead a couple times. They have not converted. Von Steuben's had a chance to put it at a multiple possession game a couple of times. They have not done it as well. As we'll see, Kenny Rosario guarded by Rivera here. They get it inside to Rosenkrantz. Rivera is going to be a familiar face for a couple of these Lane Tech players. He's also a baseball player. Jack Soar on the baseball squad for Lane Tech. Rivera for Von Steuben as Solibo, quick to the basket, finishes with his second field goal of the night. 4 points now for the senior. It's going to be tough for him to match the performance that he had on on Monday, but he can try. 50 seconds now to play in the first. Drew Bartolai into the game for the champions. Quick to the basket. Holder finishes with the two. And after Von unable to score on a couple of possessions, as soon as this game gets knotted up, they get a quick needed basket to go back up by 2. 34 seconds now to play in the first quarter. Solibo to a wide open Bartolai, but the pass is a little bit mishandled. It was a little too far to his left, and they force the sophomore to get creative. Down low, want to travel, won't get it. Rosenkrantz with a nice rebound here, and they'll get a second chance at it. 15 seconds now in the quarter. Misses his second shot. This time the rebound won't be so friendly. They're going to push it in transition, poked away from Solibo. That was Mohamed Nader into the game, who got 2 hands on the ball. We've only seen 1 or 2 substitutions. Only seniors have taken the court here for Von Steuben here on senior night for the Panthers. Holder, who's been the most impressive player on the court, tries the floater, can't get to go. Scantlebury, last second three, won't get to fall, and that will bring us to the end of 1 quarter of play. It's the Panthers 13, the Lane Tech champions 11 as we enter the second quarter of action. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech boys basketball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. Back here at Von Steuben High School, 13-11, champions trail as we enter the second quarter of action here from Von. It was 5 points from Lorenzo Aquino to lead Lane, to go along with 4 from Shahid Solivo and a lone basket from Dalton Scantlebury. That's how the champions got their 9. Jackson Labcon will hit the court for the first time since Saturday. He missed Monday's game with illness. Back for tonight's contest, he makes his debut in the second quarter as Rivera pulls for 3, and Owen Rivera has his second shot of the night. He hit the first basket of the first quarter. He'll hit the second basket of the second quarter and lead up to 5, the largest it has been tonight for either one of these squads. Lane Tech looking for a quick response. Labcon in the corner. They swing it to Scantlebury. Now Labcon will pull for 3, a little too far to the right, and bringing down the rebound is Rivera. Rivera has some shiny pink shoes that really stand out on the court. Quick to the basket. Nader can't finish with the basket. Anthony there is, though, when he gets fouled, going up for the 2. And we'll see the 6'10 center head to the line to shoot a couple of baskets. We talked about his offers earlier. Concordia University Chicago recently offered him. Williams Woods University. Yet to see where he will be playing next year, but definitely a couple of different offers for him, as first shot is up and good. I think the most impressive part of his game we've seen, he obviously has the size, can finish down low. He also has the ability to shoot. We saw him hit a 3 in the first quarter. We just saw him hit that free throw and will miss the second, but overall, better shooter than most 6'10 high school players, as Owen Rivera, deep NBA 3, can't get to go. So the teams look to be a little more wanting to shoot the 3 ball here in the second quarter. We saw Labcon miss a 3 on the first attempt of the quarter, and then we saw Rivera make one the last time around. So Lebo's shot gets blocked from behind, and now they pass a little too far ahead for Nader, and the champions will get it back. Vaughn plays a very, very fast-paced game. We've seen tonight the whole night. They are just pushing it, trying to get quick transition baskets, I'd say about half the time it has worked so far here. 17-11 your score, 6-point lead for the Panthers, 6:40 to go in the second quarter. Bartolai still in the game here for the champions, as well as Rosario, Labcon, Solivo, and Scantlebury. So only 2 of the original 5 starters here tonight still on the court. As Solivo, hot skip and a jump, can't get to fall. And just as we're talking about that, we'll see 2 starters check into the game here momentarily in the form of Williams and Aquino, as a short 15-foot jumper made here from Holder. We'll have a look at his stats at halftime, but he is lighting up the scoreboard. Him and Anthony have made up for the bulk of the buckets here, and the lead up to 8 now for the Panthers. 19-11 the score, as a block down low, but Scantlebury there for the putback. He gets his second score here of the night. Lane desperately needed some points, had yet to score here in the second quarter, over 2 minutes into the quarter, but they get the 2 there from Scantlebury and cut it to a 6-point lead. Holder holding it at midcourt. 2 enthusiastic head coaches here yelling at their squad. Nicholas Lagalbo for the champions. Marvin Williams for this Von Steuben squad. Williams in his 5th year as head coach of this team. 49-63 overall record in those 5 seasons, as Scantlebury gets the feed down low. This time he'll get fouled. Williams inherited this team after they dropped from the Red Conference in 2017-2018. They've been trying to get back to the Red ever since, but they've been stuck in the White North. They will be staying there next season after finishing in 5th place this year behind Taft, Northside, Amundsen, and Schurz. Actually got a win over Schurz in the City Constellation playoffs, as Scantlebury hits his first free throw. 5 points tonight, already surpasses his total from the game on Monday. Rosario checks out of the game alongside Bartolai for Williams and Aquino. So some extra shooting help on the court now for the champions, as they try to come back from this deficit at 5, now make it 4, as Scantlebury goes 2 for 2 from the line. 6 points now for him to lead all scores for the champions. 5:10 to play in quarter number 2 of action. Nice full court press here from champions, just barely broken, but Anthony will hold it into the game. Diego Galvin, the forward senior, Best game this season was 13 points against Sen in a conference matchup earlier this year. Down low, Nadir finds Galvin, and right into the game, he makes a difference, hits the 2, and Vaughn's the first team over 2 points. Saw the JV team for Vaughn barely make it over the 20-point mark in 4 quarters in a blowout win for the champions earlier tonight. But the offense for the varsity squad is rolling. Solibo to the basket, tried to get a big block there from Anthony. He rejected Solibo to the ground, but some big contact was made there. And now Shahid Solibo will head to the line. Lane Tech has had some success at the free throw line early. We just saw Dalton Scantlebury make his 2. I'm not sure if we've seen any missed free throws tonight from Lane Tech. And that trend will continue as Solibo hits the front end of a 2-shot trip to the line. Alongside those 30 points, also had 7 rebounds and 4 steals in that win against Payton. Very safe to say that without Solibo, Lane Tech would not have won that game, and he's hoping it's a similar story here tonight, trying to will his team back from an early deficit, 21-17, with 4:20 to play in the second quarter. Holder's going to hold it near midcourt. Williams comes on to him. It's like a little bit of a 3-2 zone here possibly from Lane Tech. A lot of movement from the defenders, as Williams almost got a steal down there. Instead, it's Galvin, the forward, trying for back-to-back baskets, but he cannot get this one to fall. Lane Tech with some more ball handlers into the game now, with Labcon, Williams, and Aquino all back in, but it will be Scantlebury, who's been on the court the whole time, who finishes with the 2. Lane Tech returns to this full court press that seems to be working. It seems like only a matter of time they'll actually be able to get a steal, and just as we say that, Solibo gets his palm on it. One-handed pass to Labcon, fumbles it out to Aquino for 3. Rivera on the closeout defense, and that's just enough for him to miss it. Solibo gets his own rebound, but a block from Anthony, who's already up to 3 or 4 blocks on the night. On the other end of things, Scantlebury returns a block of his own. And both these teams just going back and forth here. Labcon now to Aquino. Pulls up from 10 feet, can't get it. Gets his own rebound over Anthony. And they are going to, looks like, call a foul there. That's going to be the 3rd team foul against the home team here. Only 5 fouls have been called so far this half. 3:19 to play in the second quarter. Scantlebury down low, gets the easy feed. A 4-0 run all by himself by Dalton Scantlebury has us knotted up at 21-21. Another steal here for Solibo. He pulls for 3 and the lead can't get to fall. Fighting for the rebound, Aquino comes down with it. Solibo thinks about the 3 and instead goes in by himself and dishes it out to Labcon, and Lane Tech will take a second to reset their offense, something we have not seen them do in a couple times up the court. Williams finds his way inside, still scoreless for the junior in his return to the court. But he's had some nice off-the-ball movement, some nice passes, and he's a big reason why this game's knotted up at 21 apiece here, 2:40 to go in the second quarter. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Von Steuben High School, as a foul's going to be called. Von looking to take back the lead here. Heading to the line, looks like going to be number 11, Muhammad Nadir. Senior guard has not had a lot of big games this season, but early on, it's been, I don't know if he's been cherry picking down on the backcourt, but it seems like he is always open when this Vaughn team is in transition. This time he's going to miss the first free throw. Foul was called on Williams, his first, the team's 3rd. So both these teams still have 3 fouls to give in the final 156 seconds of this half before they would send the other team into bonus. So looks like in all likelihood we will not see any bonus shots, as Scantlebury is going to bring down the rebound. Labcon will slow things down, and we'll see Lane Tech try to take the lead for the first time this quarter here. They they knotted up at 21 apiece here at Von Steuben. Solibo, another 3 chance, this time can't make the most of it. Anthony pulls down the rebound. That was not a difficult one for him. Probably would have been a little easier if he was shorter, had to bend down to get it, but either way, a rebound will be added to his total. Williams almost had a breakaway steal there. Head coach Nicholas Lagamba happy with the effort there from his junior captain. And either way, the basketball will stay with the Panthers. 2:09 now to play in the second quarter. Holder tries to call a screen from his right, instead just passes off to Nadir. Switch it around the perimeter. Aquino almost with the steal. Lane Tech's really trying to push those steals here. He quickly gets back. This time he's going to get the steal all by himself. Quickly coming in on defense is Nader. Misses the layup, though. Lane Tech with a couple of chances here the last minute to take the lead. They have not been able to take advantage of any of them. I thought that ball went out of bounds, and they're going to say possession goes to Von Steuben, it looks like. We'll wait for the referee's call here to the scoreboard. It's going to be a 30-second timeout called by Vaughn, so they must have ruled that Von Steuben had possession. So 1:44 to go here in the second quarter, 21-21. Your score all knotted up here at Von Steuben High School. Both these teams' offenses have seen the go on hot streaks, and they've gone cold for a couple minutes. We're in the midst of a little bit of a cold spout for the last 1 or 2 minutes. Right now, it's really been, they've been hot at the same times, they've been cold at the same times. It really might be whichever team is able to go on a streak and also defend the other team from going on a streak will have the best likelihood of finishing off the victory here tonight. They're going to stick with all seniors to close out this second quarter for the Panthers. We have not seen an underclassman hit the court tonight for the Panthers on senior night, but the seniors are holding their own well against this Lane Tech squad as Holder thinks about it, now pulls to the corner, 3 on its way. This one drained. Second make of the night for Galvin, third shot. He's been active shooting the basketball, and that one just looked way too easy. Lane Tech missed a little bit of coverage there in the corner, and Von Steuben makes the champions pay. Williams tries to get his way around Galvin. Now they're forced to reset the offense through Labcon. Just over a minute to play here in quarter number 2 of action. Solibo, quick cut to the basket, and I think a travel. No, they're going to call a foul. So Solibo draws another foul heading to the basket. That's going to be the 4th called this half against the against the Panthers. They've not been marking the scoreboard with who gets the fouls, but I believe they call it, they said 23. I don't see a 23 in the game right now. That's Leif Al-Safarini, but I don't see him in right now, so I'm not sure who that was called on as Solibo misses the front end of his 2 free throws. Went 2 for 2 his last trip to the line. They're instead going to mark it on number 13, so Diego Galvin gets his first foul of the night. Second shot is up, and this one's good. So 75% free throw shooting so far today for the champions. The substituting has quieted down the last couple minutes for Lane Tech. They've been confident with these 5 on the court. A more usual looking starting 5. Labcon did not start tonight, only got his minutes returned in the second quarter, and now it's Aquino, Solibo, Labcon, Scantlebury, and Aquino, and Williams, your 5 on the court, as Anthony can't finish with the 2, and Scantlebury brings down the rebounds. Lucky break there for the champions. We'll see if they can take advantage, tie this, or take the lead. 36 seconds to play now in quarter number 2. Aquino backs away from Galvin. Galvin just seems to have an infinite supply of energy as Anthony gets another block. Those long arms so hard to beat. He tried to make it a coast-to-coast play, trying to finish with the layup on the other end, but the ball just a little too far for him to take control of. 21.5 seconds now to play. So Lane Tech decided not to hold for a final shot that last time up the court. A lot more likely, I imagine, that they try for it this time. 15 seconds now. Williams, tight defense by Galvin. They get to Scantlebury, top the key. I imagine they're really trying to move the ball away from Anthony as Labcon loses this. Instead, it's going to be Holder in transition. 3 seconds, goes up for the layup and can't get to go. Anthony, there should have been an offensive interference, and we'll see what the call is. And I think that's going to be the halftime break. So 24-22 is your halftime score. The Von Steuben Panthers lead the Lane Tech champions. We saw Lane fall behind as many as 8 in that second quarter. It's just a 2-point deficit as we enter our halftime here from Von Steuben. If there's halftime performances, we'll head to that. But if not, we'll just keep on talking here through the halftime break. 24-22 your score. We saw Lane Tech at a half against Payton. They were trailing by 3, 29-26, but they were losing by a lot more than that in the second quarter. So it's actually a very similar story here tonight, what we are seeing in this Lane Tech versus Vaughn game is what we were seeing in the Lane Tech versus Peyton game. Lane Tech against white conference teams this year have just they've struggled early on in the first half, but the second half is where it matters, as we're going to turn quickly to a performance and be back in a second for your full halftime show here from Von Steuben High School. back here at Von Steuben High School. 24-22 is your halftime score. The champions trailing the Von Steuben Panthers here on Von Steuben's senior night. It was a back-and-forth second quarter there. It looks like Lane Tech still in the locker room. Von Steuben's ready to get started. There's about 98 seconds on the clock. It was a shorter halftime than usual, only 7 minutes. They added 2 minutes on at the end. Most of the time on the court was spent with the dance and ponds team here honoring their seniors. So because of that, it's going to be no warm-up time, it looks like, for the champions to get on the court. The 5 on the court to start off this second half of action is going to be Owen Rivera alongside Galvin, Nader, Anthony, as well as Holder, who, in my opinion, has been the most impressive player on the court for Von Steuben. He's been able to drive. He's been able to hit some mid-range jumper. He's just done a little bit of everything here for the Panthers in the first half of play, and we'll see if he can get that going here again in the second half. If he is able to, that is most likely going to be the key here for the champions. We talked about this before heading to the halftime break, but Lane was trailing by 3 on Monday. They came back. They were able to win that game. Once again tonight, they're trailing by 2, and they're hoping to have a second half comeback. These last 4 wins, the 4-game win streak, none of them have been super impressive wins. They beat Schaumburg by 9, Northside by 3, Mather by 13, Payton by 3. So only one of those by double digits in the victory. But a win's a win, and they would love to make it 5-0 no matter what the margin of victory is here tonight. As we get ready for the second half of action here, we were going to talk more in depth at halftime about head coach Nicholas Legalbo's newest honor, which if you've been on any social media, you probably saw. But yesterday, Legalbo named the assistant coach for the Nike Hoop Summit US team on April 8th, which is basically all the top juniors in the nation. DJ Wagner is going to be on that team. Bronny James is going to be on that team. And we'll also see Legalbo on the court coming up in a couple of weeks on April 8th, so a very big honor for Lane Tech's head varsity coach you see on your screen right here. But first, he's hoping to end his high school season with some big wins. Tonight would be one, and then next week they're going to have a very tough regional. Likely would have to beat Riverside Brookfield as well as Hinsdale Central, the 7 and 2 seeds in the sectional, to take home the first regional title in recent school history, as Salibo gets a quick 2 out of the break to tie this game up at 24 apiece, 7:45 to go. We saw about 20 points scored in the first 4 minutes of this game. The scoring really slowed down there at the end of the half as Anthony quickly responds with a 2. He's been very hard to stop because Lane Tech's really just not known what type of game he is going to be playing here. Sometimes he goes inside. We even saw him shoot a couple outside shots, made a 3 there in the second quarter. As Salibo misses the shot, possession will go to Von Steuben. It was a very quick-paced first half of play, under 30 minutes. It's only 7:05 local time here. Tip-off was around 6:30. So we get going here in the second half of play. Another one of the impressive players was Nader on the court for this Von Steuben team, but he's going to get marked with a travel or perhaps an off-the-ball foul. I believe they just called a travel there, but either way, the ball will go back to the champions here with 7:05 to go in the third quarter of action. Labcon easily able to get across midcourt. Rivera goes back to guard him and leaves Scantlebury open. They've had Scantlebury moving all around the court here tonight on offense. We've seen him play above the perimeter, right now playing in the paint, as 3 from Williams is good. He gets on the scoreboard for the first time tonight, for the first time in 2 weeks actually, after being out for 4 games, and he makes up for it with a 3 here. 27-26, 6:30 to go. He's shown really no signs of the injury right now. He's playing as full form, as now Lane Tech will look to extend the lead. Williams once again underneath the basket and just can't get the bounce. Anthony will bring down the rebound. Lane Tech went with their same 5 who started the game to start off this second half. So that's going to be Salibo, Williams, Labcon, not the same 5. It's Salibo, Williams, Scantlebury, Jack Soar, and then Labcon instead of Aquino here for the champions. Labcon, a usual starter, did not start off this game after missing Monday's contest, as 3 in the corner contested, missed from Holder. they can hold him to less shots here in the second half, that will be big for the champions as they look to extend this lead past one. They've only had one double-digit lead this game at, I want to say, 4 points in the first quarter. They barely led it all in the second as Salibo quick cut to the basket, and he extends this to a 3-point game. Salibo's been in his best form possibly this whole season, these last couple of games. His best game of the season yet, or you could argue his best game of the season maybe tied with the Ignatius game as 3 on its way off the mark from Rivera. But he had a very impressive game on Monday, and tonight I don't think the scoring is going to be as high as it was in that game, but he's still going to end with a lot of points here tonight, a lot of assists, some rebounds as well as Rivera forces the steal, but Williams gets it right back. They give it to Labcon, pulls for the open 3, and around the rim and out. Unlucky there for the junior. With a given Lane Tech a 6-point lead and a big momentum boost here as we reach the under 5-minute mark to go here in the third quarter. Rivera thought about the very long 3. We saw him make probably an NBA range 3, but it was not that deep in the first half as to the basket and Adair finishes with the 2. Got fancy with it there. Hard to stop a shot like that. And cuts it back to a 1-point game here, 29-28, 4.5 now to play in the third quarter. Yet to see either team go on a really big run. The best we've seen was in the middle of the early part of the second quarter. The lead was, I want to say, up to 8 for the Panthers. Lane Tech was able to cut that back, take the lead. They ended the half trailing by 2. We have not seen any double-digit leads yet. We have not seen any true big runs from either of these squads yet. As first shot from Salibo is up, rattles around the rim, and eventually falls. To give the lead up to 2. Nadeir's going to check out of the game, and coming back in for the first time in a while, it's going to be Dubem Noye. Saw him start the game, was out for most of the first half after playing well the first couple of minutes. And now he's rewarded with some more playing time here in the third quarter. 2 for 2 from the free throw line for Salibo. He is now 5 for 6 on the night, much better than his usual free throw shooting averages. Anthony down low gets to work on Scantlebury. Goes up for the 2, misses the shot, and poking that away, they say it goes off of Scantlebury. Scantlebury, all things considered, despite the height difference, has done a relatively good job on Anthony tonight. Anthony's still going to end up with well over double-digit scoring, but he has not had many open looks at the basket as Scantlebury contests his Rivera, bringing down the he somehow comes up with his own rebound, and Scantlebury gets 2 blocks on the same possession. Shaxor thought about sending it ahead to Salibo, instead gives it to Labcon. Under 4 now to play here. Scantlebury pushes it out. Williams for a big 3. Ooh, another unlucky look here. First it was Labcon, now it's Williams. Those 2 had fallen. This would be a 9-point game right now, instead just a 3-point game. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Lane Gymnasium. It's been a fun one so far. Anthony with a flat-footed jumper, can't get it to go. And they wanted that out of bounds. Instead goes to Salibo. Williams with the quick lay-in. And he's having a productive second half of scoring. Gets his second field goal of the half and pushes the lead to 5 now with 3:20 to go in the third. Ainsack in a 3, they've returned to a man-to-man now. Williams has the tough assignment of holder. They push it out to Anthony, who pulls for 3. He's made 1. This one, though, way too strong on the shot attempt, and Salibo will bring it up the court. On comes into tonight riding a 1-game win streak. They were able to get a win over out-of-state Bradley Tech, who came all the way from Milwaukee to lose by 6 to the Panthers here at Vaughn's Gymnasium. Before that, they fell in the championship game to Wells, but it was a pretty good run in the CPS Consolation Playoffs as Scantlebury is going to get fouled and will head to the line where he is 2 for 2. The free throw shooting between Scantlebury and Salibo tonight has been excellent for the champions, and he can extend this out to a 7-point lead. If he makes both of these, it would be the largest here tonight. The wins in that playoff run were against UC Woodlawn, Austin, Fenger, and Schurz, as first free throw is up and good. Before that, lost to Wells in the championship. It was a good run there for the Panthers. Some momentum they're hoping to carry into this end of the regular season before they face off against Glenbrook North next Wednesday in the regional semifinals. It's very interesting. I was looking at the IHSA calendar today. All of the 4 classes, every single team still left in the state playoff next Wednesday, are all playing their regional semifinals on the same day. Lane Tech hosting obviously their own regional semifinal, and also Hinsdale Central against the winner of Kelly and Proviso West as three-pointer off the mark. If you're interested in watching that Kelly Proviso West game, it's going to be Saturday at 2 at Proviso West. The winner gets Hinsdale Central, a 2 seed, as Williams on a hot streak hits another one. The lead up to 10, the first double-digit lead of the day. 30-second timeout called by Marvin Williams. And it is the Parker Williams show here in the second half. Champions on a little bit of a run here. They came into the half trailing by 2. They have outscored the Panthers by 12 here in the first 5 minutes and 43 seconds of this third quarter, and thanks to that, they have a 38-28 lead now over the Von Steuben Panthers. This is something we did not see Lane Tech do the last couple of games. Against Payton, they were able to pull off the win. They did not really pull away, though, much, and same thing could be said against their win against Northside. They pulled out the win, did not pull away much in that one. Schaumburg, they had a little bit of a second half run. I think that's probably the most comparative game we have right now to what we are seeing right now from Lane Tech. It was a 3-point halftime deficit for the champions in that one, and then they ended up having a large run in the third quarter, which led them to ending up with a 9-point victory there. 2 timeouts left for the Panthers after they called that one. 4 left for the champions. They have only called 1 here, according to the scoreboard. With 2 minutes and change now to go in the third quarter. Vaughn looking to break up this run by the champions. Finished off by a Williams 3 as counting the basket. Nice shot there on its way from Galvin, who has his 3rd field goal of the day and will look to add to his total with a free throw here. So Vaughn gets to the 30-point mark, 38-30. Lane Tech still in control in this one, but obviously a little closer than Comfort, and it will get even closer if Anthony's able to finish. He gets fouled. Oh, a jump ball. Excellent move there from Scantlebury. Possession arrow points towards the Panthers here. Lane Tech thought it was possession, but they're going to say that it is Von Steuben basketball. So Vaughn will keep possession, but an excellent move there by Dalton Scantlebury to keep that from being a foul or a score from Anthony. He's been Anthony, the big man for the Panthers, who has not subbed out today, has had a much quieter second half as corner 3, good from Owen Rivera, and a 10-point game quickly turns into a 5-point game. The lead cut in half here in a matter of seconds. We'll see Muto Movic come into the game here momentarily. Quick to the basket, Salibo misses the 2, and the Panthers have the chance to cut this back to a 1-possession game here. So when it looked like Lane Tech was pulling ahead, a quick couple of baskets has changed the momentum in this one. Noye down low to Anthony, foul from Salibo. Salibo got a rough challenge on Anthony earlier in the game, returns the favor there. Lane Tech wanted a travel there, but instead it's going to be 2 free throws for the big man, who, as we mentioned, has been a lot quieter in this second half. That is the 2nd foul called against Salibo. Salibo had 3 fouls called against him in the last couple of minutes of that Payton game, ended with 4 fouls. We've seen him foul out twice this year, so that will be something to watch. Only 2 fouls called this half so far against the champions, 3 against the Panthers. Neither team got into the bonus in this first half of play. As second shot is good. That will be the second 1-for-2 trip to the line by Anthony today. And just like that, it's a 4-point game. Lane Tech trying to get some swagger back. We'll see if they can do it with a score on this possession. So Lebo Tsur Labcon, Scantlebury, and Williams. We've seen no subs through the first 7 minutes of this third quarter. This is something Lane Tech's done the last couple of weeks. Some active substituting in the first 2 quarters, but when they find the 5 who are working best, that is who they have been sticking with, and today it has been the 5 that started off the second half, the starting 5 plus Labcon instead of Aquino, as Salibo drives the baseline, gets fancy with the footwork, but can't finish, and I think a travel's called there, or his foot was out of bounds. I'll see what the call is. A technical foul. So a technical foul called here against Kevin Anthony. Not sure what it was. Something off the ball. He was not even near it. That's going to be also count in addition to the free throws. That's the 3rd foul for Anthony. So a little bit of foul trouble for him as Salibo hits the first one. A much better free throw shooting day than usual for Salibo. Hold off for the announcer's jink, and now we'll be able to say it's 7 for 8 for him today from the free throw line. Very, very encouraging to see for the junior to go along some nice field goals as well. Increases the lead to 6, and because of that technical foul, Lane Tech's going to get possession. So Lane Tech has a chance to swing this from a 4-point lead to up to a 9-point lead. It won't happen, though, as Rivera gets the steal. And quickly down low, missing this shot there. Oh, but Holder somehow got the rebound and finishes with the 2. So, last time Lane Tech brought the ball up the court, they had a 4-point lead, some free throws, possession, and a weird basket later. It's still a 4-point lead for the champions. 40 seconds to go here in the third. So Lebo's going to back away from his defender, swing it to Jack Tor. Cheerleaders getting loud here, trying to give some energy to the home team. They trail by 4 here. 30 seconds, another steal from Rivera. This time he unable to finish on his own. Took a hard foul to the ground there, but is going to get up on his own. That's good to see as Williams tries to work his way inside the paint. 15 seconds. We'll see if Lane holds for a final shot, and it looks like they will. So it's going to be the same 5 playing all 8 minutes for the champions. Scantlebury in the post, out to Salibo. Thought about the 3, now gives it out to Jack Tor. Fakes the 3, 2 seconds. He puts up the 2, misses it. Scantlebury at the buzzer, can't get it to fall. And that will bring us to the end of 3 quarters of play. Champions go on a 12-2 run, 14-4 run to start off the second quarter. They go ahead by as many as 10, but it's just a 4-point separation as we enter the 40-36 champions lead. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech Boys Basketball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. Well, it's been a fun first 24 minutes of basketball here from Von Steuben Metropolitan High School. We'll see which team can have the strongest final 8 and who will take home the regular season finale win here on senior night at Von Steuben. Von has rolled with only seniors in tonight's game, but they've done a good job sticking with the champions. Fell behind by as many as 10 there in the third quarter, but were able to get it back to a 4-point deficit, which is where things will stand as we enter the fourth. Parker Williams is going to check out of the game for Lorenzo Aquino. Not sure if he's on minute restrictions coming out of this injury as Labcon gets across midcourt, hands it off to Salibo. Salibo has been the heart and soul of this squad once again here today. Scantlebury hasn't been bad himself. Misses the shot, goes up for 2, and will head to the free throw line again with a big smile on his face. Not as easy scoring the field goals today with Anthony down there, all 6'10" of him, but he's found his way to get to the line and now will have a couple of free throws. We saw a foul called there, not against Kevin Anthony. Lane Tech really thought that foul was against Anthony. He has 3 tonight. but instead they're going to call it on Noye as Scantlebury makes the first one. He'll have one more shot at it, and he makes it. Lane Tech collectively has only missed, I think, 2 free throws. They've made close to 10 or 12 here today. We'll see the final numbers later, but a very, very impressive free throw shooting day, basically exclusively from Scantlebury and Saliba. I'm not sure if anyone other than those two have headed to the court. Scantlebury in transition finishes with, can't finish with a dunk, but gets fouled. That's going to be foul number 4 on Anthony, and the top player on this squad now has 4 fouls. And this would be big if they find a way to foul him out. We see a sub coming in here momentarily. It might be Galvin. Galvin's going to be coming in. If it's for Anthony, this is going to be the first time we've seen the big man check out of the game all night long. First, it's going to be 2 free throws from Scantlebury once again, and he makes his 3rd in a row here. And he is going to check in for Anthony. So Kevin Anthony checks out of the game, played the first 24 minutes and 33 seconds of game time. Now they have him off the court, and now might be time for Dalton Scantlebury to shine. This is his first time he's going to be the tallest player on the court. Misses the free throw, so Lebo gets the putback though, and Lane Tech has this back out to a 9-point lead. They're on a 5-0 run to start off this second half. Nadir gets down low basket and finishes quickly on Labcon. Lane just kind of collapsed on defense there, let him get whatever room he wanted, and he takes it, finishes with the 2. And a little bit of momentum into this Vaughn squad. Jack Soar tries to draw the foul, can't get it, now comes up with the rebound. A couple times tonight, Lane Tech has had some really good offensive rebounds, something that we have not necessarily seen this season. Mismatch down low, Scantlebury being guarded by Nadir. They tried to get a foul, and a charge is going to be called there against Scantlebury. Lane head coach Nicholas Sagaba very not happy with that call, but they're going to call it against Scantlebury. That will be the third of the half against the champions, first against Scantlebury. Something we should note, 6 team fouls against Vaughn, so the next one Lane Tech will be shooting free throws here with 6:40 to go. Williams will check in here momentarily, so it looks like he is not on minute restrictions here, as a foul's going to be called on Labcon, his first in a couple of minutes. Might be his second of the game. No, it will be his first, as Williams checks into the game for Labcon. So Lane returns to the lineup of Williams, Aquino, Jack Soar, Shahid Salivo, and Dalton Scantlebury. Trying to keep this lead going. They lead by 7, 6.5 to play here in quarter number 4. Quick to the basket. Is this another foul called? Wow, Lane Tech on Monday did not have the luck of the referees. There were some very, very interesting calls in the 4th for Payton tonight. Some more very interesting calls. Scantlebury gets called for the 2nd foul in a matter of seconds here. And Lane has already jumped up to 5 second-half fouls. So now they're in danger of also putting Von Steuben into the bonus. Nadir gives it to Galvin, fakes the handoff, now pulls from the 3-point line. Would have counted as a 2. But Jack Soar brings down the rebound as basket can't fall. Aquino tries to get to work himself, takes his defender to the basket, finishes with the left-handed 2. A nice move there from the senior. Did not play at all there in the 4th quarter. Comes in here, in the 3rd quarter. Comes in here early in the 4th, makes the most of it. 5:50 now to play in the 4th. See, quick move on the left-hand side, and this time a charge is going to be taken by Lane Tech. Jack Soar takes a charge. It's going to be called against Galvin here. And after we saw very few fouls called in the first half and the start of the 3rd quarter, they're starting to rack up here in the 4th. That was the first one called against Holder. He actually got it called against him. Be very interesting to see how long Anthony stays on the bench with 4 fouls. 5.5 to play here in the 4th. So Lebo to the basket, can't get the luck of the roll. Scantlebury comes up with it. He misses as well. And Nadir will pull down the rebound. So Lebo was slow to get up there, but he looks okay. Nadir with a almost crazy finish, but Williams pulls down the rebound. 5:20 now to go here in the 4th. Lane's pushing it. They're going to wait for everyone to catch up now. They're in no rush, leading by 9 here with 5 minutes to play. Aquino again, and 1. Oh, we'll see. Did they count the baskets? I think they did. They should have counted it. see what the referees say. They are going to count the basket. That's an 11-point lead now for the champions, and they can make it 12 with this free throw from Aquino. That's going to be the 8th team foul. 3rd foul called against Galvin, and that's another Von Steuben player in trouble foul-wise here. Sir and Williams have a quick word with Legalbo here. As Aquino converts a 3-point play, Lane Tech reaches the 50-point mark, 50-38, 5:07 to play here in the 4th. Noye back into the game for the Panthers. He's not scored at all today. He's been competent with the ball, though, as Holder gets it to Rivera. Rivera went on that hot streak of a couple of minutes in the 3rd to get his team back within 4. They could use that again here, trailing by 12. The largest deficit tonight for either team. Rivera misses the 2. Lane Tech collapsed a little bit on defense, but it doesn't matter. Spin from Salibo, finishes with the 2. Lane Tech up by 14. Champions taking control in this one. 4.5 now to play in this contest. Lane Tech looking to win their 5th straight to close out the regular season before they head to IHSA regional semifinal play next week. Salibo to the basket again, can't finish, pokes it away. Williams pulls down the rebound though. Once again, these second chances tonight so big for the champions, and a foul's going to be called by Williams against, it looks like there. So Williams gets called for a second. That is the 6th team foul now on the champions, and Lane has no fouls to give here for the end of this contest. 4 and change now to go. Just as we were saying, Noye hasn't scored. He gets a nice shot at the basket, but it bounces off the rim. Rims have not been particularly friendly to either one of these squads here tonight, as Aquino gets trapped in the corner, and Lane Tech's able to call timeout, and Kevin Anthony is going to check back into the game. He comes in for Noye. So we're going to see Kevin Anthony come in with 4 fouls. I'm sure Lane Tech's going to be putting plenty of bodies on him, hoping they can get him to draw a 5th foul. And we've seen Lane Tech takes their biggest lead of the day, up to 14 points with Anthony on the bench. He's just such an important part of this squad. And if they're able to get him to foul out in these final 4 minutes, that may be the final key for Lane Tech to pull off this victory. They lead 52-38 with 3:56 to go. It's been a variety of characters who have helped the champions go ahead in this one. Williams was off to the races to start off the 3rd. He had, I think, 3 field goals in the first 4 or 5 minutes there of the 3rd quarter. Was very, very impressive. Since then, it's been the 2 stars for the champions, Salibo and Scantlebury, who have been working so impressively, so productively in these last few minutes, and the free throws from them. Wow. They can shoot like this in the playoffs. This is a Lane Tech team that's going to be able to compete with a lot of different teams. Obviously, they're in one of the toughest sectionals in the state, but if Lane Tech can get those 2 involved, maybe get a couple other players involved, that's going to be the recipe for success. We think back to that Whitney Young game. They lost by 6 in double overtime to a top 5 team in the area. They had 4, maybe 5 players in double figures in that game. That's going to be the key in the state playoffs. But for now, Lane Tech looking to close out the regular season with a win. 3:50 left in the 4th. Parker Williams back from injury, hands it off to Shahid Solibo. The leading scorer tonight for the champions, probably for either team. Salibo tries to get around the deer, now punches it out. Williams for a big 3. He gets it to go. Same place he hit one a couple of minutes ago. And the lead now up to 17 for the champions. Looking to pay spoiler here on senior night for the Panthers. They look in good position to do so. Rivera hits a response 3. They're going to need a couple more of those. Lane Tech head coach Nicholas Zagalbo not happy with that one. Aquino went in a little too early to try to get the steal. Instead, it leads to an open 3 for Rivera. Still a commanding 14-point lead for the champions. Some aggressive defense here from Rivera, and he's going to get marked with the foul. That's the 9th team foul on the Panthers. We'll see how many that is on Rivera here momentarily. And they're going to let Aquino shoot the first one with, it looks like, no one in the paint. Two timeouts left for Vaughn, 3 for the champions. They're actually going to let Lane Tech have a couple of seconds there before making him shoot the free throw. That was his first against Rivera, but that is the 9th team foul. So Lane's only going to have to shoot 1 and 1 once. The next time it'll be double bonus, but doesn't matter for Aquino. He's going to get 2 either way as he hits the front one to move it back out to a 15-point lead. 56-41 your score. It's been a very, very productive second half by the champions, outscoring Vaughn by now 18 points. They came into the second half down by 2, 24-22. They lead 57-41 here with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Von Steuben Metropolitan High School. Lane Zach looking for a big win here. Anthony gets that one poked away, but it went a little too far out of the hands of Labcon. It's Williams, Aquino, Scantlebury, Labcon, and Salibo, the 5 on the court right now for the champions. This is a rotation that we have seen have a lot of success late in games this year for the champions. Salibo tried to take the steal. Scantlebury with the block. Down low, Anthony's wide open and finishes with the dunk. Better than the possible alternative of a 3 made, but they are still going to get some easy points. 2.5 now to play. We'll see how long Vaughn waits before trying to play the 3 game. Scantlebury down low. They take Anthony off of him to try to avoid getting him a foul. Scantlebury missed, but because that has an easier assignment, that's going to be a foul called against Galvin, it looks like. And if that is, yes, that is his 4th. So now 2 players on the court for Vaughn with 4 fouls. That's the 10th foul against the Panthers. It was a shooting foul, so either way, it's going to be 2 for Scantlebury, who has only missed 1 of, I think, 6 possible attempts from the line here tonight. Lane's lead right now almost entirely made up of free throws. If you take the free throws away from the champions, this is a much closer, possibly even a tie game right now. Need to get the official numbers later, but definitely close to that. They always say how important free throws are, and they're just showing that here tonight. Scantlebury, another 2 for 2 trip from the line. 59-43 substitute comes into the game in the form of Ryan Bardiesel gained his first minutes of the game, and they're playing in their seniors who have not played yet, Nathan Rodriguez, and it looks like this might be the Hounds being called off. Trevor Goodhart's coming into the game, and unless these guys are really good three-point shooters, and that's why they want them into the game, it looks like Vaughn starting to slowly accept this might be a victory for the champions. Anthony might even come out of the game here momentarily. Rosario comes in for Williams, and that's right, Kevin Anthony is going to leave the game here as Aidan Mamutovic comes back into the game. And a much different looking 5 on the court now for the Panthers, trailing by 16 with 2:15 to go. Holder, one of the lone stars, still on the court for the Panthers. Actually, the lone starter is still on the court here. We'll see Dylan Pepper come in momentarily alongside Rosenkrantz. 2 minutes, no urgency from the Panthers. They're just trying to get some late scores here for confidence. Salibo almost with another steal. Rosario now pokes it away, and I think a whistle was blown there. It's going to be a foul. That will be the 8th team foul called against the champions, and there should be shooting as Pepper comes in for Scantlebury. Salibo checks out the game for Rosenkrantz. Those two get a lot of claps from the bench. 2 very impressive games for those two, as there'll be a 1-and-1 now for Nathan Rodriguez, the senior guard, coming in the last 2 minutes on his senior night. First shot is up and good. Nice looking free throw there from Rodriguez. We're also going to see Aris Mulosmani making one of his first appearances of the year. He comes in for Aquino. Nice to see Mulosmani gain some playing time. He's battled with injuries this season. Now he gets some minutes on the final regular season game of the season. 1 for 2 on the line for Rodriguez. 15-point lead for the champions. It's Rosenkrantz, Pepper, Goodhart, Mulosmani, and Rosario, your 5 on the court. So an all-underclassmen 5 now for the champions. Goodhart fakes a 3 in the corner. They go to Rosenkrantz, and he hits the 3. Rosenkrantz makes it look so easy. All season long, he's been hitting those big 3s, and he gets Lane Zach across the 60-point mark. A nice night offensively here for the champions, who are going to end the regular season on a 5-game win streak. Layup missed. Goodhart fights for the rebound, and they throw it away to Pepper. Now just over a minute to play in this one. Rosenkrantz looks up quickly at the clock. Lane probably not going to hold for a final shot here, but they're going to take some time. Mulosmani was wide open down there, trying to get him some points. He pulls for three, misses the shot. Rodriguez pulls down the rebound. 50 seconds and counting now for the champions. On this win, Rodriguez quick to the basket. Can't get the two to go. He has some energy that this Panthers team could have used 3-4 minutes ago when everyone started getting in foul trouble for the Panthers. Rosenkrantz inside to Mulosmani, takes to the basket and gets fouled. So Sheets Aliba jumped on the court here. Very exciting as they try to get Mulosmani. This might be his first points of the season. He was out the first month plus of the year. I had to erase my stats because we were missing a couple of games, but I'm not sure we've seen him hit a point this year. First shot from Mulosmani is good, and he officially is now a scorer for this varsity squad. The junior gets his first shot made and can increase it to a 20-point lead with this second one, and he will. 64-44. Caden Buford's going to check into the game for Braden Rosenkrantz. 30.1 seconds to go in this one. This is when this was a 2-point deficit at the half for the champions. You really did not think that this was going to become a game where they're able to put their bench in for the end of this one, but outscoring the opponent by 22 in the second half will allow that to happen. Rosario pokes away the steal and finishes in the layup. He looked like he wanted to jump up for a dunk there, but instead we'll just finish with the layup. 6 seconds left. Rodriguez might have one final shot. Calls for the ISO. Step back. Long two and drains it at the buzzer. So a nice ending for the senior, but even nicer final score for the champions. 66-46, champions win by 20. Spoil senior night for the Panthers, and that is 5 straight wins for Lane Tech. Heading into the state playoffs, we'll have all the state state playoff coverage you could want coming your way next Wednesday, 7:30 first tip, as the Lane Tech champions take on Riverside Brookfield in what should be a fun one. It's a 7 versus 11 matchup. Lane Tech has a long week of practice trying to get ready for that one, but it should be a fun one. Big night for Shahid Salibo and Dalton Scantlebury. Williams looks great in his return to the court, and Lane Tech gets the victory here, 66-46. That's just about all the time we have here tonight. Your final score from Von Steuben. It's the Lane Tech champions 66, the Von Steuben Panthers 46. My name's Alex Burstein. Good night.